Hey guys, John at Goose Creek Cycle. Sorry I'm a little bit late on week 6 video. We've been pretty busy here at the shop. We are now actually fully open, so we're back as a bike shop, but that's sort of neither here nor there. I'll catch up on our weekly videos here pretty quickly. So last week we had you look at writing down everything that you were eating. So having a look at what you eat in an average week, and now I'm going to have you break that down. Just sit down with that piece of paper and look at it. And remember again that when you're writing it down, you're probably doing a little better than you would if you weren't writing it down. So some people actually do this on an ongoing basis. They'll write down everything they do all the time just to sort of keep themselves honest, as it were. So, first thing we'll look at is, I'm not going to be able to do a full course on nutrition here, but most of you actually have a pretty good idea of what you should be doing if you were to think about it. So, as a summary, how your body works is you take everything you feed it, and you break it down to its component parts, and then you decide what you're going to do with it. So, by way of example, if you think about, if you're, say, on a road trip out somewhere and someone comes up to you and says, hey, I'm going to give you all these things here, and these things have value, and I'm just going to give them to you and walk away. So that person hands you a $100 bill, a cheeseburger, and a bag of seashells that are all really pretty. You're like, all right, great. So you look at it and say, oh, I get a cheeseburger, I'll just eat that. Yeah, that's great. Eat the cheeseburger. And you get a $100 bill. That's great. Well, what I'm going to do with that is I need some gas in the car, so I'll fill up my tank, but I'll have leftover money, and I'll just put that in my pocket. And this bag of seashells, you go, well, what do I do with a bag of seashells? So you may pick through, this one's really pretty, and, the sand dollars, those aren't broken. I'll keep a couple of these because those are pretty cool. I like those, but the rest of those, I'm just going to kind of dump. I'll smile and take them nicely, but then I'll sort of chuck them as soon as the guy walks away, because you can't carry a bag of seashells around with you everywhere. So take a couple pretty ones, keep them. The rest of it you just offload. So your body works the same way. If you feed it a whole bunch of pasta, you're going to break that down. That's a big carbohydrate. You're going to break it down into little pieces and the sugars and all that, and then you're going to say, hey, I'm kind of walking around, I need some energy, I'm going to use some of that, but some of it I'm going to store for later, we'll turn that into fat. It's exactly what you do with the $100 bill. You used what you needed, the extra you said, hey, that's really valuable, I'm going to keep it, and your body stores that, and that's typically as fat. Something like water is more like the cheeseburger. You always take some water, you go, all right, there. Probably a bad example to compare water to a cheeseburger, but whatever. So your body's always going to use as much water as it can, and it actually uses to flush out and clean your system. So that's good. And then seashells are things like proteins and other nutrients that you kind of take what you need. And that's why you kind of laugh at these guys that go into the nutrition stores and buy these huge bags of like whey protein or other supplements that your body or vitamins that you just can't use as much as they're taking. So most of that you're just offloading. You're not ever taking into your system, or you're passing directly through and not using it. But you need to offer it to your system because sometimes you need it. So let's look at what you did for this week. So we will look first at, go through your list. You should have a nice little pile here of stuff that you've eaten for the week. And really quickly, you've got an idea of what you're going to do here. So you're going to go down your sheet here. And first thing, if you have a red highlighter and a green highlighter, this is ideal, but you can do it with a pen, pencil, however you want to mark this up. And if you were to go through and highlight in green everything that you're proud of, if you're like, that was a good meal. I had a salad. I think that's good. I'd If I were at a nutritionist, I would admit that. And here I ate a Taco Bell burrito, which maybe I'm not real proud of that, but we won't green that one. We'll just set that one aside. And then with a red highlighter, anything that you know is just junk. That this is you know what to put in there. I ate a bag of Doritos. I sat down and ate a whole tube of Pringles. Whatever it is, it's junk. It is. You know that. So now you can kind of look at your list and say, hey, there's a lot of green on here. I'm doing pretty well, or I'm pretty much all in the red. I'm looking at a lot of Snickers bars and Cokes and things I'm not real proud of. So you have an idea already of what food is good and what food is not. So then we're gonna, after we've done that, you get an idea. Go, oh, maybe I just need to. You might have a whole list of. Wait, I had a Coke from Thornton's every afternoon. Well, that's a lot of calories and no real nutritional value. That's something, if I'm trying to lose weight, maybe I go, maybe I do that every other day instead of every day, or cut it out completely. You don't need to kill yourself on this. Then I want you to go down, take a pen, and figure out what things are primarily protein. So there's protein in everything. Like a big thing of spaghetti, that has protein in it. But it's not primarily a protein. So like a meatball, that has carbohydrate in it, but it's not primarily a carbohydrate. It's actually primarily a protein. So you can kind of pick through your meats, your beans, your tofu or whatever it is that are primarily proteins. Put a little star next to them, and then look through your day and say, am I eating proteins throughout my day? Am I having one big protein meal a day? What's that look like? And then I want you to go on the other side and put a smiley face next to every fruit or vegetable you eat. Fruits and vegetables have a lot of good sugars if you're eating the whole fruit, a lot of good nutrients, and you're supposed to be eating fruits and vegetables and you don't. So just put a smiley face there to see how many smiley faces you have in a day. And same thing with the carbohydrates. Put a little dash next to your carbohydrates and say, okay, these are carbohydrates. This is pastas, breads, that kind of stuff. So if you look at your list now and you don't have many stars, not a lot of protein in there, then that's something we're going to need to work on, because if you're going to exercise more, the protein is going to help you build your muscles, keep your muscles strong, recover faster so that you can exercise more and be more fit. The carbs, you need them. They're your fuel. But if you're all carbs, then you're going to be just like the $100 bill in our example. If you give it a whole bunch of money, what are you going to do? You're going to keep the extra. You're going to use what you need and keep the extra. Well, keeping the extra in terms of your body is having a bank account, which is fat. That's stored energy that you can use later. So that's not the goal. So we don't want to be loading ourselves up on those carbs past what we're actually using. So have a look there. And then the last thing we're going to do is, when are you eating? One of the things with mine that I realized I was doing, I guess I realized I was doing it, but I didn't fully realize the extent I was doing it. I get up with my kids in the morning and I get them going, get them out. I'm having a cup of coffee. I'm on my third cup of coffee by the time I am getting them to school. I take them to school. I come to work. I usually hit around noon before I realize I haven't eaten anything, just coffee. And so then I go, okay, I gotta get that water bottle going. I gotta drink some water. And then what do I have here? Well, I don't really have any food at work. So sometimes I'll scavenge. I'll say, there's just this laying around. So I'll eat whatever happens to be here. And then by the time I pick my kids up from school later, I get home and I just eat everything I can get my hands on. And then I'm not hungry for dinner because I ate everything all at once. So your body isn't designed to work that way. Your body is designed to eat small meals throughout the day. Your kind of perfect situation is 5 small meals. and each of them with a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbohydrate, and some sort of fruit or vegetable. So with protein, if you give your body all this protein, it's kind of like the seashells. You take what you need and throw the rest away. If you eat a big batch of protein, 50 grams of protein all at once, your body's only going to capture about 15 grams of that. So you may have eaten 50 grams of protein, but you've only gotten 15, which means you don't have the nutrients you need to rebuild your muscles from exercise. One of the things that I did with mine is I'm making sure a little more proactive in making lunch. I'm actually trying to eat with my kids a little more, having smaller meals with a little bit of protein, a little bit of vegetable all the way through. And then the other thing that does when you kind of eat that way is you skip dinner now, and then you get to your evening and you're kind of hungry again, and then you eat just before bed. So the problem with doing that is you go to sleep and your body is now processing all the food you just ate just before you went to bed. And it's saying, well, I'm not very active. I don't need a lot of anything. So I will take this energy that I've just been provided and I'm going to store it as fat. So back in the day when I really did, I was racing and riding a lot more than I am now, and I wanted to shed some weight. One of the best things I ever did was stop eating after 6 o'clock. And that meant that my body fasted through the night. I wasn't turning a lot of energy into fat. When I got up in the morning, I was hungry, I ate. I used that energy as I needed it, ate small meals throughout the day, and then at night I was essentially fasting after 6 o'clock again. If you get home at 6, then eat at 7, whatever, but just don't eat a pizza at midnight. And so those are the little tips there. Have a look at your list. What are you eating? What are you proud of? What are you not proud of? Let's cut out some of those things you're not proud of. Not all of you don't have to go nuts with this. See if you can maybe insert an extra smaller meal between lunch and breakfast and lunch, and then maybe a smaller one between lunch and dinner. Maybe it's just a light sandwich and an apple. Sandwich is going to be a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbohydrate. An apple is a good vegetable, fruit, and something like that where you're having smaller meals. You're not going to overeat the meals that you're eating, and you won't be hungry. You'll just be constantly providing your body with what it needs. And then the last little tidbit to think about is what you're eating while you're exercising. Remember that you're going to need to be refilling the energy you're using while you're exercising. If you're exercising for more than, say, an hour and a half, you need to kind of keep a little something going in. And then in the last 15 minutes of your ride or exercise, do a cool down and include eating something like a Cliff Bar or a Quest bar, whatever it is, with a little bit of protein is really good for you, because after you exercise, your body really needs the protein and it sucks up that protein really well, and you're less prone to overeat later if you eat a little something at the end of your exercise. So that's what we're doing for this week. Have a look through there. See if you can make a couple small adjustments to your diet that will really change, especially if you're trying to lose weight. It will change the way you do that. So you're not starving yourself to lose weight. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to eat more consistently and take out some of these things that I'm not real proud of.